So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to find the domain and the range of some sort of relation. Now in this case, when we're first looking at your possible x values, which covers our domain, we'd be looking along your x-axis here, and we want to be asking ourselves, what x values exist in this particular example? Okay, so if I ask myself, is there a point where x is equal to 0? Sure, it's right here. Is there a point where x is equal to 1? Yes, it'd be actually right all the way down here. Is there a point where x is equal to -2? Sure, it's over here. And is there a point where x is equal to -3? And the answer to that one is actually no. Now the reason for that is because we know from previous grades that if a point is not filled in, we can't actually include that, right? So if we go jump back to junior high here, and we create ourselves a little bit of a number line over here on the right, and I have my value of 1 and my value of -3. Oh, let's make that a little bit neater. My value of -3 here. If I were to start to fill those in, I'd be able to actually have a solid line right there at the 1, or a solid dot or point filled in at 1. It would go up until 3, and we notice that we'd actually have an open circle at 3. Okay, so in that case, what we can do is we can actually go ahead and use that to kind of help us figure out what the domain is. So normally what I do for my students is I tell them, all right, since we're working with the domain, you keep the x in the middle. Then you have your lowest value of x on the right, or sorry, the left. So we know that your lowest value of x goes up until -3, and your greatest value of x goes up until 1. Make sure you have your inequality signs facing towards the right. And we want to ask ourselves, does it include the value of -3 here? In this case, no, it doesn't, so we do not underline that. Does it include the value of 1? Well, we can see back to that number line. Yes, it does. So we would actually underline that inequality sign. Now, when we're looking towards your range, we're looking at your y values. So again, your y-axis is going to be coming vertically this way up and down. And we want to be asking ourselves, okay, what values of y exist in this particular relation? Okay, so we can see here we do have a value, or a y value of -4 here. We have another y value of -4 down there. It doesn't quite make it up to 0 over there, but it does make it to 0 up there. So we can see that we have a lowest value of -4 and a greatest value of 0 right up there at the origin. So we can go ahead and write our range. And we can say that y has to be greater than -4 and less than 0. Does it include the value of -4? Yes, it does. So I can go ahead and underline that. Does it include the value of 0? Yes, it does. So I can go ahead and underline that. And that's how you'd find the domain and the range of this particular relation.